Have you ever said, or has someone said to you, for the love of God? It's an interesting statement because it says something about you and it's not so good, and it says something about God, but not so good either. For the love of, and it's always said with a tone, isn't it? And I think it's kind of interesting how we see God, and that we see God so often as this person that needs to rescue us as a person, as a great warrior, or whatever it is. And I often wonder, how does God see me? It's the reverse side of the question, right? How do I see God? But how does God see me? And I think that although it's just five little words, sometimes the most profound spiritual insights come with the simplest of questions, don't they? Because you kind of have to really dig in them. You don't need a theological book. You don't need to do extra of anything. You just need to sit with the question, how does God see me? Because part of what happens is we run up against, unknowingly, many of the boundaries or restrictions or past definitions that we have had about God. For example, many religious traditions make God seem like Santa Claus. He's making a list and he's checking it twice. And you have to make sure that you have more on the credit side than on the debit side. Because if not, there's this question that lies within you. Will I make it to heaven? Am I going to somehow make the grade, if you will, and therefore I will achieve this eternal happiness? Now, you may say, well, Marianne, I wasn't really born and raised in that religious tradition. Yet, our society reinforces that religious tradition by teaching us that our value and our worth is about how well we perform. Can you prove yourself? Can you measure up to some standard of whatever it might be, of being a man, a woman, a minister, a mom, a grandma? And we're constantly sort of striving and achieving to make the grade, to be what we think that the society wants us to be, and therefore we take those same standards and those same ideas and questions into how we believe at a really core level. We don't think about it consciously, but we do think about it in a way, as I guess that's the way God sees me. And it comes up like things, for example, I'd be sitting here, not that I would do this, but in case I did, played a lot of solitaire, and I think, I just wasted the day. Well, maybe I needed the rest. But you see, in our societal norm, wasting time is not a good thing. And we drive ourselves, and we see so much nowadays about mental health and being able to rest and renew, that we don't, because we're all so hyped up most of the time to achieve this. And so we think, because we have to do that for society, we have to do that for God. And we begin to question, am I a good person? Really, am I a good person? Because I play a lot of solitaire or whatever. Am I supposed to be doing more with my life? Yeah, I'm at a rest period between big things in my life. But right now, I need that rest. I need that renewal, whether it be emotionally or physically or mentally. But I don't give myself permission because, God's making a list and I'm not, I'm on the debit side here. I don't want to, I need to be more on the credit side. Am I enough just the way I am? Just the way I am, right here, right now. I think we all long to be seen, to be heard. We all have that real desire. One time I had some issue I was grappling with, and I said to my husband Patrick, I said, I want you to take your Mr. Fix-It hat off and listen. And he said, I don't know how to listen without my Mr. Fix-It hat on. I thought, now there's the problem right there. You're not really listening to me. What you're listening is where I can fix it. What does she need for me to do? She hasn't got there yet, but I know she's going to get there any minute now. And then I can put my fix-it hat back on and say, I have the solution. I know exactly what you need to do, what you need to do, or what I need to do for you to have done. You know, it feels good when somebody just listens, and therefore we feel seen, we feel heard. We're not judged, we're not tinkered with, we're not trying to be fixed. We just need to say it. We're not being measured by anything or anyone. And it's a struggle for us to do that for others. It's also, interestingly enough, a struggle for us to receive it, because we get halfway through the story and say, well, what do you think I should do? Instead of saying, well, now let me get through the story, and I'm kind of trying to just hear me out. Just hear me out. And then I feel seen and I feel heard. I wonder if that's not why we love our pets so much. You know, that unconditional sense of love. I mean, think of those eyes looking up at you while you're sitting there eating, and they're like, any minute now, she'll notice me, she'll love me, I will adore her, and she will give me what I want. We have that sense of, we too would like to be loved and adored in that very same focused, unconditional way. Because we all want to love, and we all want to be loved, to be accepted, to be appreciated, to be known. So the question is, what does God see? What does God see? Because we know, hopefully, at this point in our spiritual life journey, that God is not a superhuman being, super God, that God is not anthropomorphic with qualities of humanness. And yet, the struggle we have is trying to give language to an infinite that has no language. We really don't have a language for it. So we do tend to use the language that we use in talking about people. But I came across this the other day, and I thought that was so interesting. The way God sees us is through presence, power, and passion. Presence, power, and passion. You know, the reality is God sees us as we are, right here and right now, warts and all. I always used to love that. I'd say, God sees me, God loves me, warts and all. Because it's the recognition that my life in the eyes of God is a hologram. It's not just this moment or the one before or 10 days ago or 10 days from now. My life is a hologram of from the moment of conception all the way through the moment of ending on planes of existence that I don't even understand or know. God, it's a hologram. I love that image of the hologram, because you see, God isn't waiting to respond to us when we have a better version of ourselves. So God's sitting there thinking, you know, Marianne, if you just, you know, combed your hair different, if you just had lost 5 pounds, if you'd finished that class you'd started, if you had gone to the neighbors and given them some soup because they're not feeling good, when there's a better version of you, why don't you call me and then I can be God? God's like, no, no, I love you, warts and all, right here and right now. Because love is present. It's a presence. It's not something we earn or something we achieve. God's love simply is. God's love simply is. It's the presence that is present to us all the time. It's all around us in every cell and fiber of our being. God's love simply is. And what is that isness? It's unchangeable. It's constant. It's eternal. See, God didn't leave half of God home this morning and say, well, you know, I didn't get up at the right time and saw you're not going to have eternal presence today, Marianne. And I'll catch up with you, give you a little extra tomorrow. This doesn't work that way. God is eternally present with all of its presence right here and right now. That's the way God sees me. It's a steadfast love. I love that Psalm 136. It's made as an anthem and refrain, and the refrain is God's steadfast love endures forever. God's steadfast love endures forever. So if you ever feel like, oh, I'm kind of out of sorts, I feel abandoned, when bad things happen, I feel disconnected from God. I don't think God cares, God sees me, God hears me, whatever it might be. God isn't the one moving away. And to go back to that psalm and hear that cadence repeated for, I don't remember how many lines it is, 70 something lines, that God's steadfast love endures, unchanging, allness, accepting, loving, complete, whole, perfect, forever. For you, for me. I didn't get less because you got it all today. You didn't get less because tomorrow I'm going to get a bigger amount. It isn't like that. You see, and I think for me, I struggle with those concepts. I go, well, if I have, a glass of water and I give you some, then I have less. But that's on our humanness, on our human plane. And it's not the way it works. When we come to that junction of where our beliefs and our concepts that we think we know or have been taught from the past, or we've sort of glommed on through our living of life, and the reality of the truth of spirit, we struggle at that intersection. We really struggle because we have to say to ourselves, that's not the truth. The truth is God's steadfast love endures forever. And I may feel abandoned and I may feel disconnected, but it's not the truth. And the sooner I can align myself with that truth, the faster and more clear I will become that God hasn't moved away or left me behind. Because love is also power. Now, I want to remind us that yes, love is a feeling, and it's a very important feeling for all of us. But love as a feeling is kind of way down here on the list. Love is really a power. It is a power that encourages us to unfold our good. Love is a force that encourages us to unfold our good. The other day I went to Trader Joe's and I bought bought a bouquet of flowers, of roses. And you know how they're all crammed into that little cellophane thing. And I got them. I guess, oh, girls, come on now, get out. I cut the thing and all the stems and put the stuff in and put them in the water, put them in the light. Now, 48 hours later, they're all puffed up like, oh, look at us. Wow, we've unfolded, we've blossomed. Because the conscious energy of growth, of unfolding, of the universe, of life has called them to blossom. So, isn't what happens to nature parallel to what happens to us? The power of love is a force that invites us to grow. God accepts us right where we are, warts and all, just as we are in this moment, in this time, at the same time, is a power that says, unfold. Is a presence that says, I'll hold you in the unfolding. It is something that we don't really appreciate, I think, because the unfolding issue is it's that word change. We don't like that word change. I don't like that word change, not a lot anyway. I like it when it's in my favor, but most of the time it's a stretching and a growing, isn't it? It's the power that calls us out to grow in richer and bigger ways. And love is a passion. Now, this is interesting, I thought, looking up the definition of passion. The first definition is, of course, a sexual energy, the fire of that sexual energy, a passion. Second definition is the enthusiasm of a hobby. Somebody has a passion for sports cars. I have a passion for photography and travel, and I really get into it and I love it and I enjoy it. So this passion also has a third part, which is very seemingly very different. It's suffering. Now, we see this in the scriptural account when we talk about the trial, the arrest, the trial, the crucifixion, and the death of Jesus. We call it the passion of Christ. We are not talking about sexual energy. We're not talking about his enthusiasm for a hobby. We are talking about the transformative experience of life, which, of course, is the resurrection, to be transformed. So each of these things, although they may not seem like love, that God is looking at us with love of passion, really what's happening is from sexual energy, a child is born. From enthusiastic hobby, a skill is born. And from the death and resurrection through suffering is a transformed life. So God is seeing this incredible hologram of your life and of my life. So, how does God see? God sees with presence, not with eyes, not with optical illusions, that we're not alone, but that when we feel alone and we're weary, there is a warmth that enfolds us. There's a presence that watches over us. In moments of joy, we recognize that there is that connection with the oneness of all life and with God. And wherever I am, God is. And wherever God is, I am. We say it every Sunday. We're never separate and alone. Love is something in which we live, move, and have our being. It's the way God sees us. See, that if we go through presence, this is how God sees us, then this power of unfolding, how does that happen? The way God sees us is we need to turn around and see as God sees. Now that's a struggle for us. We have to see ourselves and others without judgment. The woulda, coulda, shouldas of my own life and the woulda, coulda, shouldas of your life, they ride me hard, don't they? I think they ride you too. It's like, oh, I should have gotten more done today. I should have done it yesterday. I knew I should have stopped for gas, and now I was late for. We go through it all the time. To be that power and to see as God sees, we need to monitor our words and our actions through the lens of compassion. Compassion for others, to recognize the connection that we all share in this great oneness, in this great hologram. There's my hologram, and there's all of the hologram of life. And it doesn't matter your age or your race or your lifestyle choice or your sex or whatever it might be. You are loved. I am loved from the very moment that God created and said, let there be. Let there be was the great creative act of the universe. So it's the passion of God that not only wants to create us, but wants to see us grow within that creation, to unfold to the opportunities that we have, that we oftentimes aren't even aware of in the moment. They come up like an opportunity and they go by, and we go, well, should I jump or shouldn't I jump? I don't know. And if we pass, then the window goes by. I think of that a lot in my life when something comes up and I see that window come by me. Should I jump? Should I not jump? Should I go? Should I not go? And oftentimes I let it go by. But every now and then, when I truly hear that call of presence, when I feel that love and power that wants me to grow and unfold, when I take that passion and I say, I'm going for it, and I jump and I get on the other side and I go, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? And yet, it's because of it that I begin to see through the eyes and with the eyes of God. And I also conversely can see how the eyes of God see me as an unfolding, dynamic, living reality, that I have all the love that I need through presence. And I have all the opportunities that I need through power. And I will allow those to grow and enrich my life through the passion that I have for living the very life that I was given. We are always held in the loving eyes of God. It is one who loved us so much that we were created. Think about that. Someone loved you so much, someone, some energy, some consciousness loved you so much. You were created, regardless of the circumstances of your birth, or when, or how, or what. You were created in love, through love, by love, that you live and move and have your being. Never forget that no matter what, God sees you with the eyes of love, warts and all, for the present moment and the expanded hologram of a full, rich, and whole life, living in that beautiful place of knowing that love abides, is steadfast, and caring for you and for all of us evermore. Thank you, and God bless.